What is up, you guys? It is episode number 40 of the Sci-Fly Zone. Happy we made it this far. It's awesome. Thank you guys for all the support that you have shown us so far. We love making these videos and covering this type of content, and we appreciate you guys watching it. But today, our destination takes us back again to Major League Baseball because we're going to be discussing the playoff race just in general. There is so much to cover, and I don't think it is right to just leave it to one league anymore. There are so few teams left still fighting for a spot that we can just cover them all at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's really coming down to the wire. Teams are getting eliminated quickly. Teams are losing their hopes of making the playoffs. There are very few left that are still competing, but they are all in there for a reason. You know, they've been some of the better teams that we've seen in the season this year, and there's a reason that they're like still competing this far into the year. You know, so yeah, a lot of pressure on everybody. Cleveland especially is putting pressure on everybody in the American League. So. Yeah, it should be a really interesting last couple of days of the season.
Yeah. So just to go over exactly who has made it into the playoffs so far. In the American League, the Mariners have won their division, and the Blue Jays and the Yankees have made the playoffs. And in the National League, the Phillies have won their division, the Brewers have won their division, and the Dodgers have won the division. The Padres have clinched the wild card specifically, and also the Cubs have clinched the wild card specifically.
Yeah, there's only one more spot in the National League there. The Mets have been hanging on to that spot for a couple months. Not sure how they're still in there, but the Reds have been hungry, man. The Reds are hunting them out, and they really want that last spot. And so do the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, there are three teams all fighting for that final spot. And it's really coming down to the wire, like you've been saying. And it's really awesome to see how close it is so far. And not only that, the Tigers and the Astros and the Red Sox are all within 2 games of each other right now, still fighting for those last 2 spots. So one of them is not going to make it anymore. And one of them is also going to be the winner of the division.
Yeah, the stakes for this last series, for some of these teams, could not be higher. This is literally the most important series for a lot of these teams.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into specifically the Tigers and Guardians series that just happened, because that series put them exactly tied for first place in the AL Central going into the final 3 games of the year for both of these teams. And how we got to this point was by the Guardians winning 2 out of the 3 games in Detroit to make it so. In game 1, we had a 5-2 final in Cleveland. And what's crazy is Detroit was actually holding a lead going into the 6th inning, and then poof, gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it was another great start for Tarik Skubal. He seemed like he was pitching well. He's pitched well against Cleveland all year. He had about 6 strikeouts through 5 shutout innings. Then once he got to the 6th inning, it kind of just fell apart a little bit. Cleveland started doing what Cleveland does. You know, they're not really known for like having a super heavy offense, but Angel Martinez goes for a sac bunt, and Tarik Skubal turns into an NFL center, tries to hike it between his legs, hikes it over the Spencer Torkelson's head, puts runners on second and third. Jose Ramirez with a chopper to the third baseman, infield single, beats it out to score a run. And then Tarik Skubal throws his 3rd wild pitch of the year to tie the game. And then a ground out to the first baseman gives the Guardians the lead. And they would score 2 more in the next inning, and that was enough because the Tigers would not score for the rest of the game. So just a really, really tough loss for the Tigers. They could have taken 2 out of 3 in this series, could be in first place right now, but because of this one inning, it seems it's a completely different story.
Yeah, and not to mention, the Guardians pitching throughout the whole game was phenomenal. They combined for 19 strikeouts. Gavin Williams accounting for 12 of said strikeouts. Incredible pitching across the board by Cleveland, and it was really cool to see them take advantage of a few mistakes made by the Tigers to really capitalize on like a huge opportunity that they have here.
Yeah, 100%. That seems like what they've kind of been doing all month. That's how they've gotten to the position that they are. They've been taking advantage of the mistakes that the Tigers have been making. The Tigers pitching in particular has kind of really not looked the same. Like recently, in the last 14 days, they're 1-11 with a 5.33 ERA. The Guardians, however, 12-1 with a 1.62 ERA. Just completely opposite sides of the coin. Like, the Tigers could not have picked a worse time to play poorly, and the Guardians could not have picked a better time to play better.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. And we also have a similar story going on in game 2 as well. We have a 5-1 final. And again, the Tigers actually scored first once again. But in this game, the Guardians, they scored 2 in response to the Tigers' 1. And then the Guardians proceed to have said, we won the game.
Yeah, and that was
That's
it.
what it is.
They made the decision. They decided they were going to win the game, and so they did. Yeah, Tanner Bybee gave up the first run of the game, but after that, he was looking great. You know, he only gave up 5 hits, gave up 1 earned run through 6 innings, only walked 2 batters. Like, the Cleveland pitching has completely locked in for in the last like month or so. You know, and Jack Flaherty, kind of a similar story to what his season's been like. The strikeout numbers were pretty good, but he's just been giving up more runs than the Tigers need him to give up, you know? Like, there were only 3 earned runs in this game, but 3 earned runs would have been enough for this win anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't help that when your pitching is not pitching to par, your offense is even worse at the same time. I mean, that exactly explains why they're on such a bad loss streak right now. I mean, look back 2 months ago. I mean, the Tigers were looking like the Brewers.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think they had like 2 or 3 guys starting in the All-Star game. The 1 and 2 hitters of the All-Star game, I'm pretty sure were both Tigers. And
Not
I
to
think
mention Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like, we've talked about it several times, but the Tigers look like a very different team right now.
Yeah, and crazy stat here. I mean, Jack Flaherty's 8-15, 15 losses on your resume for the year. That's tough.
While pitching for one of the better performing teams for most of the season.
Yeah, so like that's just a bad combination of how they play when he's pitching and just probably just overall circumstances lately. Because he's not a bad pitcher. You know, I feel like if he were on a different team and he pitched the exact same that he pitched this season, I would say he might have like, I don't know, 13-10 record, maybe something like that, or 11-12.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen like flashes of what he can do. You know, he's had good years for St. Louis. He was good for the Dodgers for the most part, and it was supposed to be a big deal that Jack Flaherty was coming back to Detroit because he was supposed to be like kind of competing with Tarek Skubal as their ace almost. Like, not as I don't think they expected him to do what Tarek Skubal's doing, but they expected him to do better than what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got, I believe, the most losses in the American League. So when you're competing for a playoff spot and when you're going through a downfall like the Tigers are right now, it's not at all what you need from one of the guys that you're paying the most.
Yeah. 100%. And on the offensive side, Jose Ramirez, again, getting a few RBIs, being their core guy, along with Valera at the DH spot and the 2 spot of the lineup, also getting 2 RBIs as well.
Yeah, I mean, Jose Ramirez is one of, if not the best third baseman in baseball. He's the face of the Guardians right now. You mentioned a couple weeks or a couple months ago, I think you raised the question, like, this was before the Guardians were doing what they're doing right now, but
yeah, no, because a few months ago the Guardians were like 12 games back.
Yeah. I think even at the start of September they were 10.5 games behind the Tigers. So
yeah, so they were not at all considered for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And you raised the question, like, should they trade Jose Ramirez in the offseason? And I felt like it was a good idea at the time because he's got incredible value. The Guardians weren't doing much at the time, and it's completely flipped. And he's been like their core guy the entire time. He's just been great for them. And I mean, you mentioned George Valera. He's been hitting great for them as well. Like Kyle Manzardo's been doing good overall in the year.
Yeah.
But it's really been the pitching, at least this month. It seems like it's been the pitching that's been carrying this team thus far, seemingly. I mean, the Guardians have scored 5 runs or less in 2/3 of their games in September, but they've only allowed more than 5 runs 3 times this month. So they're keeping the game close. They're scoring the runs that they need to, and everything is just going really well for them.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, since he is one of their best bats, you would think, if you're going to trade a bat, you would probably want to get pitching back. Because if you're willing to give up offense, that means your offense is probably pretty good. You know, you have some to give up. So you're going to want to acquire something else in return. But their pitching has been pretty good for the most part. So it doesn't make sense to like give away your best bat to like get 3 bats to make up for the 1 bat, basically. You know what I mean? Like you should try and acquire things elsewhere, you know, like given the circumstances that we're in right now. But also they're just having a really good month as well. Who knows how easy it is they're going to be able to repeat this level of success again next year, you know? So I still don't rule out him getting traded like out of the question. I think it's a bit less certain now for sure, considering their success. But I mean, also other teams could view that success and run with it as a reason to trade him because he has so much hype. And I mean, I take a shot every time I say success in this video, but he's having a very successful time in Cleveland right now. So some people might look at that and feel like, you know, we should trade him.
Yeah, he's got a ton of value right now. He's a great power bat. He's got tons of speed. He's great defensively. Like, teams are probably going to be throwing some offers out there, and if there's one good enough, I could see the Guardians. I think it would make sense for them to take a deal if it's like good enough. But also, he's a guy that you can totally build around. Like, I could see him being a Guardian for a lot longer, you know. And I mean, while we're on the topics of trades, I actually wanted to, kind of put this into perspective for how the Guardians are doing right now compared to the first half or even the last couple months.
Yeah.
Do you know the moves that they made at the trade deadline?
Not off the top of my head.
So they traded Shane Bieber to the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yep.
They got a prospect pitcher back who hasn't made his debut.
Yeah.
And they traded Paul Sewald to the Tigers
he's been doing bad.
Yeah. They traded him for cash considerations and or a player to be named later. So I didn't even really know what they were getting back. Those are the only 2 moves that they made at the deadline. Other than that, the team is the same. And they're just playing a lot better this month.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like they trimmed the fat, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good way to word it, you know? I mean, Shane Bieber is kind of like, when he's healthy, he's probably regarded as like one of the faces of the Guardians pitching right now, of the guys that they have left. But that was before Gavin Williams is doing what he's doing right now. So, like, they kind of don't really need that right now. And they have Cade Smith in the back of the bullpen. They don't really need Paul Sewald there. So they've identified what works for them and what doesn't. And like you said, they've trimmed the fat, and it's working out really well for them.
Yeah. And the final game of this series, luckily, the Tigers snapped out of it and actually held a lead. They held a lead all the way till the end of the 9th inning.
Yeah.
They scored first. They scored 3 runs, gave up a run. But then they scored another run just 2 innings later, and then only proceeded to give up 1 more run for the rest of the game till the end of the 9th inning, meaning that they won without giving up the lead. I know that's crazy because they've been doing it the whole series. That's why I'm making such a big point out of it.
Yeah, and it was a good pitching performance for the team overall. They did it without their star pitchers.
They did it with 6 pitchers.
Yeah, it was a bullpen game.
I don't know why. Why did they use so many pitchers? They used 6 pitchers in 9 innings, but they only gave up 2 runs as an entire staff. Like, why are you throwing in so many guys?
Yeah, dude. This is not how I expected the Tigers to snap their 8-game losing streak.
You know what? I know why.
Why?
So that they can have all of them tired for the final series of the year.
So that they can blow the next game.
Yeah. It's great. I don't know. I mean, they all threw just an inning, so I know I'm just being dramatic, but I don't know. It was weird.
Very strange. Yeah, very weird. I mean, but hey, they snapped the 8-game losing streak.
It worked.
It worked.
Mean, I'm not gonna.
They did what they needed to do.
I can't talk too much crap about it. I mean, you know, they won the game, but I'm really curious to see how that's gonna play into their final series in the Red Sox. That's actually starting today.
Yeah.
And they're both fighting for like one of the final 3 playoff spots, like in terms of seeding and stuff like that. But also, depending on how everything goes, they could still outright get kicked out if they lose all the games.
Yeah. There is a chance that they don't make the playoffs. They do have one more Tarek Skubal start for the rest of the year. He's pitching on the last day of the season, so that could give the Tigers some momentum going into the postseason, or even guarantee that they actually make the postseason, as opposed to getting eliminated.
Yeah, and it's literally going to be their final game of the year. Game 162, Tarek Skubal. That's so sick.
Yeah, man, it's going to be really cool. But however, that does mean if they want him to start game one of the wild card, he's going to be on short rest, because that series is not going to start much later after the last game of the season. So we'll see what they do with him. If the Tigers make the playoffs, and this goes for the Red Sox too with Garrett Crochet, they are going to be used a lot in those series. I could totally see somebody having like a Steven Strasburg or a Madison Bumgarner run, whether it be Garrett Crochet, Tarek Skubal, Max Fried, or Gavin Williams. Like, somebody is going to be heavily relied on by their team, and I'm interested to see who's going to step up.
Me too, man. I'm really down to see some Crochet and Skubal going against each other in the playoffs.
Dude, I want that matchup so bad. That would be so much fun.
For real. And the other team that is also fighting for a playoff spot, besides Cleveland, like we've been talking about since they've been going against the Tigers for the last little bit, Houston is the final team playing for a playoff spot. And CJ, their final series is against the Angels. We could single-handedly hold them out of the playoffs if Detroit and Boston can like have a pretty even series.
I would love that. That would be a great way to cap off a not so great year. You know, if we can keep the Astros from going to the playoffs, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is like, we've talked about the Tigers fall off. We talked about the Mets struggling. A lot of people haven't really been talking about the Astros falling off, but they were in first place for a while. Like, they were going to be one of the better teams in the playoffs, but now they're just competing for a wild card spot. And the Mariners have been on an insane run. They made a really, really great comeback, but partially because the Astros have been struggling. I mean, like, not including the COVID year, this is their lowest winning percentage since they won the World Series in 2017. And this is their third lowest run scored since joining the AL West in 2013. So it's been, like, by their standards of recent times, it's been a down year. Like, they're one of the better teams in baseball. It hasn't totally felt the same this year. No. And partially is, like, they have lost a lot of guys. They lost Bregman. They lost Kyle Tucker. Both of those guys are on playoff contenders now. And Yordan Alvarez was hurt for a long time. And Josh Hader hasn't thrown a ball since August 8th. So there has been a lot of things going poorly for the Astros recently.
Yep.
And they are just trying to find a way to hang on.
Yep. But hopefully we can have some Angels in the outfield.
Yes. I would love that so much.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And I mean, like, part of the reason why they've been in the position and why they're still contending right now is because of Framber Valdez and Hunter Brown. They've been two great starting pitchers this year for the most part, but Framber Valdez has been struggling for his last month quite a bit. In the last 28 days, he's 1-4 in 5 starts with a 6.51 ERA.
Literally ever since he gave up that grand slam, bro.
Yeah, man, that whole interaction really messed with the team, it seems like, or at least him and his chemistry with his catcher. But yeah, man, it's not been looking good for them.
No.
Like, mix that with a bad offense. The offense has been down too. The Astros didn't make a ton of trades at the deadline. Carlos Correa was one of the bigger trades at the deadline, but he's been the only, like, big impactful trade that they made.
Yeah.
But this week, the offense is hitting .201 with a .269 on base percentage and a .307 slugging for a .576 team OPS.
That is so bad.
Really bad. Yeah. Very, very bad. Mix that with, like, Hunter Brown being their only, like, kind of consistent pitcher that they can rely on right now. It's not looking good for the Astros, man. It is not. And they need to win most of their games for the rest of the season. They need to win 2 out of 3 at least if they're going to make a push. So
yeah, and they're going to be going up against many better teams.
Yeah,
like, literally every single team in this playoff run is better than they are. So it's going to be it's only going to be uphill from here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If they beat the Angels in the series, which, I mean, there's a good chance that'll happen. But if they make the playoffs, it's just going to be a struggle for them.
Yeah. And the Guardians, their final series is versus the Rangers, another AL West team. And the Rangers are 1-9 in their last 10. So as long as the Guardians win one more game than the Tigers do in their series versus Boston, then the Guardians will solidify their spot in first place.
Yeah, it's pretty promising for the Guardians. The Rangers have been doing poor lately. They were competing for a wild card a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing, the Guardians and the Rangers have faced each other in one series this year, and the Guardians got swept. So we'll see what happens there. You know, the Guardians have been playing better baseball recently.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to keep playing good baseball. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, literally one game might cost the whole season in these next 3 days.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. The Guardians and the Tigers don't really have like absolute control over each other's teams making the playoffs anymore. Like they had their chance in their series against each other, but now they just have to focus on what they can do and try to win every game for the rest of the season.
Yep. And the Mets, they're currently in the final wild card spot in the National League. They're sitting just one game above the Reds and one game above the Diamondbacks. And the Mets, their final series is against Miami. So that's clutch for them.
Yeah, pretty promising. Although, I will say this, Miami is 7-3 in their last 10. They've been playing good recently. They love to be the spoilers for the teams trying to make the playoffs. I imagine that even though they're not in playoff contention, I think this series is going to matter to them, and I think they're going to try to finally put the hammer put the nail in the coffin of the Mets 2025 season, because they've been hammering on it very slowly.
Yeah.
They just need just one more push. We're going to see this series is really going to matter a lot to the Mets.
Yeah. And it would just be crazy if after this whole year they don't even make the playoffs. Like,
No, man.
That'd be such a disappointment.
It would be a huge disappointment. I mean, like some of the guys that they have on their team, like they should not be in this position of the wild card race. They need to be like 4 or 5 games up. They should be where the Cubs are at right now. But I mean, like Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto are the third group of teammates to ever have a 30-30 season in the same year. Yes, Juan Soto has a 30-30 season. He has 43 homers and 36 stolen bases this year.
He's almost going to go 40-40.
Yeah, man. Seriously. It's pretty insane to me. Not to mention those 36 stolen bases were in a row without getting
That's crazy
in that span, which is a franchise record for the Mets.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Didn't expect Juan Soto to be holding that record, but I mean, he's been great for them, dude. And Pete Alonso is one of the best power hitting first basemen in baseball too. Like, this team should be better than they are, but the pitching has not been holding up, you know? Like, the Mets almost have as many runs scored as the Phillies. And the Phillies are like 10 games ahead of them, because the starting pitching of the Mets is just, I mean, like the first half of the season, the starting pitching had a 3.38 ERA, which is pretty good. But in the second half, they've had a 5.41 ERA. They're allowing 2 more runs on average in every game. So like,
not good.
It's really not good. We talked about a couple months ago how the Mets starting pitching doesn't really go deep into games. They don't have a lot of guys that are like workhorses. So the bullpen has been working a lot, and it's the wheels are starting to fall off.
Yes. And what's tough is the Reds' final series is against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
The best team in baseball right now.
Yeah. Best team in baseball. Probably going to finish with the best record in baseball.
Yeah.
But I will say this, though. The Brewers have clinched the division series and the first round bye. I know some teams in the last couple games of the season kind of give some of their guys who have been playing all season long a couple days rest, maybe, if they've already clinched a spot. Freddie Peralta is in line to pitch another game before the season ends. We'll see if they give him that game, or if they're going to kind of do some wacky stuff, if they're going to like let their guys sit a little bit more. Although I imagine they'd want to have him ready for playoff contention, so he's probably going to get a start. But I mean, we've seen teams in the past, like either they get eliminated from the playoffs or they clinch the division. They kind of start doing some weird things. So we'll see what kind of team the Reds are going to be facing. But I mean, regardless, the Brewers have been like, they have the best record in baseball. You know, there's a reason that they've clinched the division, because they are that good.
Yeah, dude. And for the Diamondbacks, if the Mets or the Reds, if either of them win 2 games and their next series, then they're eliminated automatically, unfortunately. So in order for the Diamondbacks to have a chance to make it, the Mets and the Reds both have to go at least 1-2 in their next series.
Man.
While the Diamondbacks win at least 2, if not all 3 of their games against
Padres.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
facing the Padres, which is going to be a tough series. Another division rivalry. They just came off a tough series against the Dodgers. I mean, they did win the first game, but then they lost the last 2.
Yeah.
The Padres are guaranteed a playoff spot because they've been playing great. They're pretty neck and neck with the Dodgers and will have been neck and neck with the Dodgers. And they've won 4 out of their last 5 games. So we'll see how the momentum kind of plays into it. I know the Diamondbacks are going to be scratching and clawing for that spot because they really want to make the playoffs, man.
Yeah, dude.
After giving up as many guys as they did, they traded Josh Naylor, they traded Eugenio Suarez, they traded Merrill Kelly, they traded Shelby Miller. So for this team, if they are still able to make the playoffs this year, that says a lot about this team. Because even giving up some of the best hitters, like they still have Geraldo Perdomo. He's been a great shortstop. Corbin Carroll is having a 30-30 season. Ketel Marte is back, and he's one of the best second basemen in baseball. So, like, they have the pieces, man. They do, and it's going to be a tough series. These teams are, like, pretty even with each other. In the last 20 games, the Padres and the Diamondbacks are 10-10 against each other.
Wow.
And this season, the Diamondbacks are 6-7 against the Padres. So
that was good.
So it's gonna be a close series, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
I am too, bro. Yeah, playoffs are awesome. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and it's only gonna get more exciting. This postseason has a chance to be very, very fun, dude.
Yeah, I think it will be.
Yeah,
and we will definitely be covering all of the postseason for sure.
Yes, 100%.
So stay tuned for that if you enjoy baseball. And I imagine if you made it this far in the video, you probably do enjoy baseball. So we will be making more,
or you just enjoy us, in which case, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. That has been today's episode of recapping the current status of Major League Baseball playoffs. So if you enjoyed it, please drop a like, drop a comment. If you have anything else that you want us to talk about specifically, we'll be happy to do it. So yeah, that has been today's episode of the Sci-Fly Zone, where the multiverse meets the 7th inning stretch, and we will see you on the next episode, which will be covering the new episode of Peacemaker that just came out. So we'll be doing that. All right. See you guys. Have a good one.